Hello and welcome back. I'm David Taylor, and in this week's news, Volkswagen Group Africa has pulled off a pricing masterclass, plus the ultimate Volvo is on its way to South Africa. Let's go.
What's the car with Cars.co.za? This is Karen. Her name's not really Karen. You just know the hooter on her car is really well used. Beep! Now think of a car. Any car. Yes, we have it. Cars.co.za. Let's find what moves you.
In our first news story for the week, Volkswagen Group Africa is playing a very interesting game with its new car products. Now, as you know, new car pricing has gone crazy. I mean, especially your legacy brands, some of your German brands as well. I mean, you look at the cost of new cars and you're going, what am I actually getting for that? And I'd rather have XYZ for this similar amount of money. Anyways, my point is Volkswagen is also well aware of the pricing situation and has probably seen all of your complaints. Now, the past 3 launches that Volkswagen has put into South Africa, so that's your updated Polo Vivo, your updated T-Cross, and the brand new Tiguan, the pricing has been more or less the same, if not cheaper than the outgoing model. But it gets better than that. If we examine the finer details, in some cases, if we go derivative by derivative, model by model, and we compare old versus new, in some cases, the newer car is actually cheaper than the outgoing car. Now, we've already touched on the updated Vivo in a previous video, and I'm sure you can find that on the Cars.co.za YouTube channel. But let's look at this facelifted T-Cross. This is VW's entry-level crossover, stylish-looking thing. There'll be 6 models on offer. Right now, there's just 3 available, according to Cars.co.za's app. The cheapest model will be touching down in 2025. But right now, 462,000 Rand gets you into the T-Cross Life 1-litre TSR. Now that, based on our calculations, is 3,600 Rand less than the outgoing equivalent model. That's very cool. Now onto this fancy thing. This is the brand new 3rd generation Volkswagen Tiguan. And that as well has seen a surprising shift in pricing strategy. Like the T-Cross, not every model is going to be available immediately. I mean, right now I understand that the diesels and the flagship 4Motion 2-litre turbo petrol, that's coming in 2025. But if I compare again, 651,000 Rand gets you into your base model Tiguan, but when you compare pricing like for like, there's also decreases. So the new diesel, for example, 25,000 Rand less. Usually, we've come to expect price increases when it comes to facelifts and all new cars. I mean, obviously, there's a newer car, it's got new features, more space and so on. And especially when it comes to a generational shift, like we're comparing the 3rd gen Tiguan against the 2nd gen facelift. So the car's a little bit bigger, there's more features, bigger screens, more safety tech and so on, yet the car's cheaper. So now we have to go back a bit and see Volkswagen as an entire business. Now obviously in the passenger segment, the Vivo, Polo and so on, they want as much market share as possible. But over the past few years, you have brands like Haval, Chery coming in with value-packed vehicles at a not too crazy price. And then you've had mighty Suzuki come out of nowhere, deliver a blinder, and has basically taken a lot of Volkswagen's lunch money. Now if you look at the pricing segments around 250,000 up to about 500,000, I mean, right now there's just the Vivo, and people are looking at the Vivo and a bit of the T-Cross going, what exactly am I getting for my money? Because I can buy a fully loaded Swift or a fully loaded Fronx or a Haval or a Chery. And Volkswagen is well aware how this is going. So I suspect they've adjusted their numbers, looked at everything and gone, where can we actually give the consumer more value? And I think the profit margins have just taken a little bit of they've taken a bit of the top off and gone, you know what, we're going to suffer a little bit and we're going to give the consumers more. And for me, that's applause. I like that. And naturally, we'll link all the pricing and reviews of the new Tiguan as well as the facelifted T-Cross in the description below. On to our second news story for this week, and I've only just finished recovering from a whirlwind trip to Los Angeles, California, and this is what I was driving. This is the brand new flagship Volvo EX90. Now, you can see by the looks, this is all electric and it's a 7-seater and it's confirmed for South Africa. But let's unpack this. Now what you see here, this flagship Volvo, it's not a replacement for the brilliant XC90, but rather going to be alongside it. Because you know, not everyone is into the all-electric philosophy yet. So, I mean, in the meantime, if you want a plug-in hybrid or a mild hybrid, Volvo will have the XC90. But if you want to go, you know what, I want all-electric, EX90. This smart, clean-looking SUV, built in America, I mean, quite a convenient place to have a launch in California, but the car's from South Carolina. And Volvo is claiming that this is its safest and most quietest vehicle yet. Right now, there are just 2 models, twin motor and twin motor performance. Basically the same thing, just various states of power, but we wouldn't put it past Volvo to put in a single motor, rear wheel drive, or reduce the spec a bit. I mean, this car it's on the premium side, but I mean, like every premium vehicle, there are derivatives, and we think EX90 will follow a similar strategy. The numbers make for impressive reading, 111 kilowatt hour battery, and according to the WLTP claim, around 600 kilometers of range. I mean, range anxiety? No, EX90 crushes it. And like all EVs, it's going to be pretty zippy. So I drove the twin motor performance, and there's a motor on each axle, and there are outputs of 380 kilowatts and 910 Newton meters. Now, it's not the fastest thing in the world. 0 to 100, 4.9 seconds. But remember, this is a big family SUV, 7 seats, and it weighs almost 2.8 tons. Like all modern Volvos, the cabin is an exercise in beautiful Scandinavian minimalism. I mean, all your common touch points. The car feels beautiful, high-end, luxurious. I mean, everything you'd expect from a very expensive premium vehicle. We'll talk about the pricing at the end. Well, don't worry, we'll get there. This gorgeous 14.5-inch portrait infotainment screen, it's got Google behind it, so like most modern Volvos, Google now works on the infotainment thing, but you have Google Maps and YouTube and Spotify, and all your apps are integrated into the car. Unlike its EX30 compact sibling, you know, the cute little Volvo that we loved, but ergonomic issues, this addresses its number one fault. I mean, for me, I didn't like driving the EX30 and constantly having to look at the infotainment screen for my speedo. The EX90 fixes that with a very cute, as you can see, digital dashboard which displays all your key info, plus there's a head-up display. But how does it actually drive? I mean, I had the pleasure of driving this thing out of LA, plus Laguna Beach, and out into the desert, and then we landed up at a beautiful winery. Guys, I cannot stress this enough. The roads in California are glorious, compounded by the fact that the EX90 rides supremely well, even on these aerodynamic 22-inch wheels. Few cars are this refined. And of course, the acid test will be how it handles a Gauteng pothole road or a front shook pass. But right now, this is one of the best driving cars. It's not just about the comfort and refinement and gliding along like a magic carpet. It's also the cabin noise or lack thereof. Few cars are this quiet. But you can disturb the peace and crush those awkward silences with a 25-speaker Bowers & Wilkins audio system. Man, I drove around those roads with Billy Joel, Fleetwood Mac, and Bruce Springsteen at full volume. I would put my hand on my heart and go, this is one of the best car audio systems. Salute, Bowers & Wilkins, salute. By now you've looked at beautiful sweeping footage of this car, thanks Mr. Editor, and you've probably noticed the bulge on the roof. Now this isn't just a taxi sign that'll light up when it wants to pick up passengers, but this is part of the car's comprehensive safety package. This is the LiDAR, but there's caveats. This car has not had an easy life so far. There's been production delays, there's issues with the software, and yeah, this is the awkward moment. See, now American customers and some of the European customers are getting their cars right now. But if this car was to land up in South Africa and go on sale in September 2024, there'd be an outcry. Now, while all the hardware is present, not all the software has been activated. So the car's going to need 1 or 2 over-the-air updates to be fully functional. Now, key features like Apple CarPlay, I mean, all the Apple users, they're not going to be too happy. I mean, you've just paid almost $100,000 US and you don't have CarPlay. You don't have the LiDAR-assisted safety tech. Bi-directional charging so you can power your house, that's not activated immediately either. Some of the Bowers & Wilkins audio modes aren't even activated yet. So, this is frustrating. Imagine you've paid all this money and you get told, well, you can take delivery now, the car will drive beautifully and will be fine. But if you want all the features, you're looking around May, June, July 2025. See, now you're probably wondering why this car has even gone on sale if not everything is activated. But I see it as Volvo trying to be 100% certain. I mean, when you're dealing with autonomous safety tech, you want that thing to work 100%. I mean, I chatted to some of the Volvo software people and they said that the car would pick up like the sun at the wrong angle and it couldn't decide. So when you're dealing with a car to take over in the event of an accident, you want that software to be 100% foolproof, for example. But once those over-the-air updates are there, we've been assured that the car will be 100%. But in the South African context, this doesn't matter because my theory, and Volvo South Africa have confirmed this, by the time the vehicle comes to South Africa in June, July next year, all of these issues should be resolved. So I'm betting that by the time the first customers in South Africa receive their cars, and believe you me, there's already been a few orders and interest, all the over-the-air updates will have been sent to the cars and the cars will be working beautifully. But if you're not into that all-electric life, and to be fair, I don't blame you, I mean the cars are very expensive in South Africa, Volvo has already confirmed an update and a facelift for its current XC90, and we'll put a picture of the car. I mean, how good does that grille look? That is a seriously good looking car. And as you can see, some of the infotainment systems and features have been carried over from the EX90 and put into the facelifted XC90. This is a very interesting time for Volvo. I mean, you may have seen the news where they've done a full U-turn and said, well, we're not actually going to be all electric by 2030. We're now going to do a little bit of plug-in hybrids as well. And, kudos to them. There seems to be a global slowdown on electric cars. And, I mean, I get it. I mean, if an electric car is not able to stand on its own 2 feet without subsidies, are they really that good? I mean, I don't mind electric cars, but they have to be competitive and they have to be priced correctly. But importantly, I'll link my EX90 impressions in the description below so you can have a closer look at this incredible high-tech SUV. That wraps up this week's news. And as always, thanks for your likes, your shares, your comments. I try to get through them all and try to respond where I can. And if you want a new or used vehicle, 75,000 vehicles currently on sale on Cars.co.za. Let's find what moves you. See you next week. Okay, bye.
Think of a car, any car. Yes, Cars.co.za. Let's find what moves you.